Okay, thank you. All right, so we're on Mem Zayin with
I
Bays.
did it, Yaakov.
Thank
Yaakov,
you.
I'm making you the host because I gotta go.
Yeah, you can make me a host because I'm not on my iPad. I'm on my phone. But all right.
Oh, okay.
Fine, as long as you're
I'm
recording, it's fine. We won't be able
okay, fine.
to mute Rachamim, so we won't be able to mute Rachamim. He'll have to mute himself.
I'm
That's
recording. I'm
all.
recording. I'll stay on for a little bit, but I'm fine. That's Yaakov's.
That's
I made you
fine.
the host also.
You're
So
now the host, Jacob. You're now the host. I don't know. It
Ah,
didn't connect.
I mamish feel like Baruch Tzadikim. I feel like I have gaiva and everything that I'm the host.
you are. You're Mama Jabal Gaiva.
There you go. Okay, good. It's always good. It's good to feel some gaiva. Huh. Okay, so continuing in the sugya of if somebody comes into that's going to be pretty much tonight's stuff. All the scenarios. There's going to be so many different scenarios. Hard to keep track of the nuances. But what do you do if somebody comes into your property without permission? Who's
Are you
responsible?
driving? Are you driving? Or are you a passenger?
I'm not driving. I'm parked. I'm parked. Okay, I'm not driving. I hope eventually to know the Gemara Baal Peh that I could do this while I drive. But the Vaila, I don't know it Baal Peh.
That's a
But
shame. That's a
that's the Shem. I hope so. I hope
shame.
so. Okay, so anyway, so we continue. Boilu, it's 7 lines up from the bottom of Mem Zayin Base. Boilu, I'm going to go a little faster tonight, if you don't mind. Boilu, Heichad the Kibbal Alei Nitirusa Mao. So let's say, and Rashi says this shaila is going into Rabbanon and Rebbe. Remember, there's a machlokes Rabbanon and Rebbe. Rabbanon hold when you tell somebody come into your property, that's considered like an automatic achrayus, and you're taking responsibility for his things. And Rebbe, right? Rabbanan hold it's automatic, and Rebbe said no, it's not automatic. You have to explicitly say to the person that you're taking achrayas for his things. If not, then you're not responsible. So the shaila is when he does take responsibility, in which case, according to all opinions, then the host is responsible. Does that mean he's taking responsibility that his own animals don't damage, or is he taking responsibility for everything? Right? Meaning, let's say an animal breaks in from the neighbor and destroys this guy's fruit that he's storing in this fellow's garage. So was when he took responsibility, did he say, don't worry, I'm going to make sure that my animals don't ruin your stuff, but other animals he's not, or is it for both? So again, Mao, when he accepted on himself to watch it, what's it in? Right? Is he only being makabel on himself his own animals don't damage? Or we're going to say that even nitirusa da'alma, and he's going to just watch it to make sure nothing happens. So Tashma the Tanur of Yehuda Bar Simon benizakin devei karna, right? Rabbi Yehuda Bar Simon taught in of the nizakin of Bei Karna. That was a that's they have their different yeshivas had different brises. So this was the one from Beit Karna. And what was his case? If a guy brings fruit into somebody's house without permission, and somebody else's shar comes into the rishos and eats them. So that's exactly the case of the Gemara. The Gemara is asking the Shiloh. He tells him the guy brings in the fruits without permission. Well, the first part is not exactly a shar because he came without permission. He came without permission, and the shar comes from someplace else, and he eats it. It's potter. But if he brought it in with rishus, chayev, he's chayev, right? So man potter man chayev. When it says potter and chayev, who is it talking about? La potter bal chotzer v'chayev bal chotzer. When it says he's potter and chayev, it's referring to the bal chotzer. So you see that even though the the animal came from somebody else and it damaged, the Baal Chutz is going to be chayiv. Right? So the one answers Amri loy. No, Potter Baal Ashar or Chayiv Baal Ashar. The Baal Ashar, the guy who shar broke in to this guy's property, is going to be responsible. So if that's the case, the obvious question is, so then what do you mean Bereshus and Shaloi Bereshus? Of course the guy's in the Shaloi Bereshus. Be Baal Ashar, the Gemara asks now on Talmud Aleph. Right? So the Gemara says, Be Baal Ashar, my Bereshus, umay Shaloi Bereshus Ika. Right? What's the rishus and shalai rishus? Meaning, if we're talking about the responsibility of the guy that owns the land, so then we understand that there's a difference whether the guy came in with permission or not. But if the guy that's responsible is the owner of the shar, whose shar broke into this guy's property, what's the difference, rishus or not rishus? You damage somebody's things. The Gemara answers, Amri. Now we get a little bit of chazara from the first parak. Amri, rishus, if he came in with permission, right? Meaning, if the guy has permission to keep his fruits, then it becomes like his property. Then havile shein b'rishus hanizik. It's shein because shein, when eating fruit is considered shein, and the din of shein and rishus hanizik is v'shein rishus hanizik chayeves. Shein and rishus in the rishus of the one that got damaged, you're chayev. But shaloi b'rishus. But if the guy brought the fruit in without rishus, so you can't say it's his yard. Sahavilah shein rishus harabim. So then that's shein rishus harabim, shein rishus harabim petura, right? We know from the first parak that shein and rishus harabim is potter. So that's what it means, that there's a difference between rishus and shaloi rishus. If the guy brought his fruit in with rishus, it's considered like his own property, even though he's a guest, and therefore when an animal comes in and eats in somebody else's property, he's chayiv. But if he came in shaloi rishus, then it's no different than rishus harabim, and we know that shein in rishus harabim is potter. So therefore, there's no raya. Tashema, a similar case. Here it's hichnis shari. The first case was fruit. This one is shar. Hichnis shari lechatzer balabai shaloi rishus. The guy brings in his animal, right? He brings in his ox to this guy's property without rishus. And it comes a shar from someplace else, and it gores his shar. Potter, he's potter. But if he brought in with rishus, then he's chayiv. Same exact case, just with the shar. Man potter or man chayiv. Who's the one that's potter? Who's the one that's chayiv? La potter bal chotzer. The chayiv bal chotzer isn't the one that's potter, the owner of the chotzer. And if when he's chayiv, it's somehow the bal chotzer. So we say loy potter bal ashar, b'chayiv bal ashar. We're talking about is the bal ashar is potter, and the chayiv is bal ashar. Okay, so what like we said before? What does rishus have to do with it? What's with permission, without permission? Amri, Amani, Reb Tarfin. It's Reb Tarfin. The Amar Meshuna Karen b'Chatzer Hanizik Nezik Shalim Mishalim. So he says that Karen in the Chatzer Hanizik pays Nezik Shalim. Karen is basically tam, right? So it's short tam. So and there normally you pay Chatzi Nezik, but Reb Tarfin's opinion is that in the Nizik's Rishus you pay Nezik Shalim. So here, Birishos Havi Karen Bechotzer Nizik Mishalim Nezik Shalim. If he's in there with Rishos, like we said before, since the guy's in the owner's property with permission, becomes like his property, so it becomes like Rishos HaYachid, and Reb Tarfon holds that goring and Rishos HaYachid is going to be Nezik Shalim. Shalai Birishos, but if he did it without permission, Havi Karen Rishos HaRabim, it's Karen and Rishos HaRabim, and you don't pay only chatzi nezek. So now the Gemara is really changing, and it's saying that if he came in shaloi b'rishus, not potter, it's just potter from nezek shalim, but it will have to pay. It will have to pay chatzi nezek, right? So again, the Gemara thought it had rayas that the Baal Chotzer is responsible for all damages, and the Gemara disproves those rayas. Okay, then the Gemara brings two cases. A very interesting case that actually has a lot of practical ramifications. So there was a woman, the also lemeifa bahu beisa. She came to bake in somebody else's house. Also barcha de mari de beisa came along the goat of the owner of the house, achla lalisha, and it ate her dough. Chavil umis, and then because it ate all that dough, so then the animal died. So now she came into somebody's property to bake. The animal got a hold of the dough, ate all that dough, and died.
She came in with permission, right?
So that's the question. Did she come in with permission or not? Seems like the pashtus is to understand the Gemara is that she came with permission, right? And then the boss's animal, not the boss, the host's animal went and got ruined from this thing. So chayva Rava l'shlumi demei barcha. Rava said she's chayva, right? So why? Why should she be chayiv if she came in with permission? So then lema pliga de Rav, Dama Rav Havila Hav Dama Rav said Havila Shaloi Toicha, right? Remember Rav on the previous Amud said that you're never chayiv for an animal eating your stuff because your animal shouldn't have eaten. And here we're saying that she is chayiv, right? Now the reason why we're saying that she's chayiv, even if she's there with permission, is because she should have made sure that this animal doesn't eat her things. But it's certainly a kash on Rav who said that you're not responsible to make sure animals don't eat things because here we're saying you're chayiv.
How
So
was she supposed
yeah,
to
go ahead.
know that the eating the dough was going to kill the animal?
Is she supposed to know?
I mean, does that make a difference? Meaning, maybe the animal can eat dough. What's the big deal? Why do I need to watch it from that? I didn't know. I didn't think it was going to die from eating dough.
Right, but I guess animals overeat. So since animals overeat,
Yeah,
then
they don't process bread well, and so you have to. That's I think the next line. No, she should watch them, but
well, yeah, but I don't know if she would watch Dafka. Let's see. Um, it's not saying dough specific. The Gemara's answer is not dough specific though. But let's see the Gemara's teretz. So hachi hashta. Amri, so we say hachi hashta. Hasam, right? Meaning hachi hashta means is it really a kasha? Hasam shaloi bereshus. There by Rav was she came in without permission. Like since she didn't have permission, she was never makabel on herself to watch to make sure that this guy's animals don't eat her food. It's almost the opposite of what this. Whenever we say that with chaysha mishpat shailas is the opposite of what we would paskin, this is one of those cases, right? Um, because again, we're saying here in the Rav's case where the person came in without permission. So imagine this: you bring in your dough to somebody's house without permission, and the animal comes and eats your dough. And the Gemara is saying that you're potter. Why? Because since I'm in your house without permission, I never accepted to watch your animal that it doesn't eat my dough, right? It sounds crazy. It sounds like one of these crazy legal cases where a guy comes into your house and you shoot him, and now you're liable, right? So that's not so crazy according to this Gemara. We're gonna have another Gemara at the bottom of the Amud, right? So again, by Rav, he was never makabel achrayas because he's crashing in this guy's house. But hacha b'reshus kibbelale tirusa here, since she's in his property with reshus, so it's understood that when you go into somebody's property with reshus, you're going to make sure that their animals don't get ruined by your stuff.
So
Right?
when they used to bring all the children to the baker, right? They used to bring all the children to the pots to the baker on shop
Right.
on front. So the owner of the owner of the bread store is chayav to watch all those.
No, the people. We're saying that if the owner of the bread store allows you to come in,
So then he
so
doesn't
then
have to
you're
watch it.
taking responsibility to make sure that
Okay.
his oven doesn't get broken. That's why I'm understanding. And now it could be with all these things, the slightest difference can make the difference in the case because maybe an oven is different than an animal. But yes, the Gemara is saying that when you go into somebody's property with permission, then that's as if you're being makabel to make sure that your stuff doesn't damage his things. But if you break into somebody's house, then you never accepted responsibility. That's what I was saying. The Gemara says, okay, in another case, why is this different in the case of a woman who went to grind wheat? The first case was she's making dough. This case,
But if you break in, the Bala bus didn't accept responsibility either.
correct.
So why is he chayiv?
He's not. Who said he's chayiv?
He's not
You
chayav.
said.
Just the other guy's not chayav.
Nobody's chayiv. His
I'm
animal
saying.
died. His
Right,
animal
okay.
died. There's no chayiv. He's taking a loss. Yes, you're right. He's taking a loss. But he's not
Right.
chayiv. Yeah, he's a loser.
Yeah, how's he taking a loss?
His animal died.
Because the guy that broke in damaged his animal.
No,
Didn't
in this
damage.
case, his animal ate the
ate
dough.
it.
His
His
animal ate the dough
animal
and died.
voluntarily ate it. Right. His animal voluntarily ate it. So
And the
that's
guy
what
that broke
Rob's
in gets
chiddush
away?
was.
The guy that gets it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a crazy case. I know. There you go,
It
Naftali.
starts making it
A
starts
real
making sense
estate
again.
a
That's
real
making sense.
estate
The guy that spilled
manager
his
in the
own
Bronx
coffee,
and
right? Yeah,
yeah, a real estate manager in the Bronx and Manhattan is not going to understand this. Not going to be
yeah,
happy with this psak.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So
the
then it says,
McDonald's
"What?"
coffee thing.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So there, so this case is where she's coming in to grind the wheat. Potter. Here, the balabayas is she's potter. Again, she brought in wheat and she's potter, right? But if the animal got damaged, meaning if the animal ate, then she's potter. If the animal got damaged by her wheat, then it's chayev. Then she's chayev. The only reason is that she's chayiv if the animal tripped, let's say, is because she went in without rishus, haver rishus. But if she's within there with rishus, then she's going to be potter, right? So how come in the first case, if she's there with rishus, she's chayiv? In this case, with rishus, she's potter. So fascinating answer. Amri litchain chitim, to grind wheat, kivan deloy by tznius amidi. To grind, she doesn't need tznius because a woman can stay tznius when she's grinding. Right? Loy boy misalki marvasa the chotzon of shail. So since she could stay tznius, the owner of the property doesn't have to leave and give her privacy. Since the grind wheat, you don't need tznius. Vale didei ramini terusa. So memela, the guy, since he's going to be there, so he knows that he has to watch his animals. Aval lemefa, but by baking, even the by heat tzniusa, since she needs tznius, and Rashi says, why does she need tznius? Because when you're kneading the dough, your sleeves run up, right? And therefore she's not bitsnius. So marvasa the chotza masaki nafshayos. So the host is going to give her privacy because she's not going to be tznius. So he has to leave. Since he has to leave, who's going to watch the animals? So it's understood. Hilkach Allah dida rami natirusa. Therefore, she has to watch the animals. Right? You hear the difference? Right? By wheat, she's going to be dressed so the Baal can stay there. So it's not a problem. But when she's going to have to be not dressed, not dressed, whatever, her arms are going to show. So then that's not enough. That's not enough for meaning the Baal is going to have to leave. So it's understood that if he lets her come in, he's going to have to leave to give her a privacy. Therefore, she's going to have to make sure the animals don't go getting damaged. Right? So there's a lot of rules here that are unwritten rules that could change the entire case. Right? So here the Mefarshim say that back then they covered their arms, meaning even from their wrists, not just above the elbows. So that's why this was a thing. Now the Aruch HaShulchan says in Shulchan Aruch, it's very interesting. He says you can use this kula to be mechayev her because the Baal has to leave because of pritzas. That's only if the Baal cares about pritzas. But if the Baal doesn't care about pritzas, then this is not an excuse, and he has to stay. Meaning, if he's not so makban on pritzas anyways, then he cannot use this taina to make her chayev. Right? Okay, it's interesting. It's how this all plays out. Okay, next case. So we said that if he brings his shar into the chotzer of the balabayas, right? So then it's going to depend on what's if it's with rishus, without rishus. So let's see. Omar Rava. Right, Rava is going to say a bunch of scenarios here. A guy brings a shar into his friend's yard without permission. And the animal, the shar, goes digging holes all over this guy's property. Right? Um, so now who's responsible? So again, he came in without permission. So Bala Shar Chayib in his Chotzer. If somebody gets damaged in that chotzer, so the owner of the shar is responsible because his shar went digging holes. Ubal chotzer Chayib in his bar. But the Bal chotzer is Chayib for the damaging of the bar. Right? Meaning the guest is chayiv for the damage he did to the chutzner. But if somebody falls into the bar that the owner of the property is. So, but this only works if he makes it hefker, right? Because as we know, a bar is only chayiv if it's hefker for people to have permission to walk there. You can't walk into a guy's field and fall into a hole and then make the guy liable because you didn't have permission to be there. But it was talking about where he made it hefker. So Afagav the Amar Mar. Ki Yichre Ishbar, even though Mar said that the Pasuk says when a man digs a bar, below shar bar, it doesn't say when a shar digs a bar. Right? In the Torah, when it says about making a bar, it's somehow a man digging a bar, not an animal. Acha, Kivan de Isleh Leheich Lemaluye, since this guy, the owner, should have filled it up, but like Kamali didn't fill it up, command the Karyadami, we make it as if he dug the hole. Right? So even though normally the man has to dig the hole, but if you should have filled it in or covered it and you didn't, then it's your responsibility. Fine. V'amarava. Ich nishari l'chotzer balabayas shaloi b'rishus. You bring the shor in without permission. V'hizik is balabayas, and then it damaged the balabayas. Oy balabayas huzuk by, or the balabayas got damaged. Meaning the first case is the shor went and actually physically, proactively went and damaged. Huzak means it was just sitting there minding its own business, and let's say another animal tripped on it, right? So chayev, he's chayev. Rovatz, potter. But if he sat down on something, meaning what the Gemara thinks right now, but if the shar came in and sat down on something, then he's potter. So the Gemara asks, Mishum the Rovatz potter? I mean, he damaged, right? So because it sat down on something, he's potter. Amar Papa, my Rovatz. What does Rovatz mean? Shehirbitz Galolim. It means that he went to the bathroom. So he had Galolim is dung, right? Nitfanu Kalov Shobalavayas, and what it did is it made the utensils of the balabayas dirty. Tavi Galolim bar, so the dung is bar, right? Because anything on the floor is bar. But Laimatzinu bar Shechayavayas a kalim, and we know that bar you putter on kalim. So Mamela, this thing is considered bar, right? Now Rashi says that it can't be that it ruined the guy's clothing when it came out of the animal, because then that's tsoirus, right? Has to be where it fell to the floor, and then somehow it got onto the utensils. Here means probably clothing, and then it ruined it. Fine. So Gemara asks. So again, it became bar. So it's really for technical reason, even though the animal went to the bathroom on something and it ruined it. Why shouldn't he be responsible? For a technical reason, which is because it's a bar, and bar is not responsible for utensils. Okay, but Shmuel Damar Kota Kala Barhu. That's going according to Shmuel, who says that any type of takal, anything that messes things up, is considered bar. Hela Rav Damar Adim Mafker. But according to Rav, who says you have to actually be mafker it, Michael and Meimar. What are you going to say here? Did he mafker the dung? So Amri Stam Galalim Afkuri Mafkalu. Yes, Stam Galalim. Nobody cares to keep possession of dung. So Stam dung, unless the owner wants it, is considered hefker. So therefore, it's considered a bar. Fine. Then case number 3 of Rava. Vama Rava Nichnas l'chotzer balabayis shalei b'rishus. Again, he goes to the chotzer balabayis without rishus. Hizik is balabayis, and it damaged the balabayis. Oy balabayis huzuk boy. Or the balabayis, again, huzuk boy means the balabayis tripped on him. He didn't do anything proactive. Chayev, he is chayev because he was there shalei b'rishus. Hiziku balabayis, but if the balabayis did damage to him, then the balabayis is potter because who asked him to be in his property? So again, here's another case where we would not think like this. We're only saying this where he didn't know about it, meaning the homeowner, right? The guy, the Baal Chotzer, didn't know that this guy broke into his field and was hanging out there. Aval have a yodabe, but if he knew about him, hezeko balabayas chayev, then the balabayas damaged him. He's chayev. My time rishum damar le nehidis lach rishus lafuke. He says, yeah, it's true. You have rishus to leave lazuke less lach to kick me out, right? Lazuke less lach rishusa, but you don't have rishus to damage me, right? Naftali, here you go, exact same thing. Guy breaks into your house and he damages you, and he knew you were there. He's chayev. That's what the Gemara is saying. He's chayev. I think we paskin this way because you're not allowed to just go damage somebody because he's in your property. You could throw him
Oh,
out, but you can't necessarily damage it, right?
I can't. This won't work in
Yes,
Texas.
it's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
It is. It's crazy. It is. Well, we know the same thing with Bava Machteres. If a guy breaks into your house, you're only allowed to kill him if you think he's going to kill you. Otherwise, you can't kill him. I'm saying these New York laws that we hear about and we think it's totally nuts. It ain't so nuts. What should I tell you? I wish we had more time to spend on it, but it's not. It's really not so crazy. I mean, if you look at the Masaras Hashas, look how many places in Shulchan Aruch discuss this. So obviously we can't paskin from doing the daf like this. But the point is that we can never use our own das to paskin chesed mishpat shilas until we actually learn the sugyas, because what we think should be the halacha is usually the total opposite, which is in itself a proof that it's probably correct, right? Das das Torah is lehefer from das balabat, and myself as a balabas, right? Whatever. But anyway, so that's what he's saying. Tamayu, bottom line. Tamar Rabba, Vitamer Papa on Tama Bays. This is also interesting because it says the Amar Rabba, meaning there were two things that were said here. It was it was well, it was Rava, really. Then it's Rapapa that is explaining Rava. The Amar Rava, Vitamer Papa. Right? Again, Rava said that the guy is Potter. Rapapa came along and said he's only Potter if he didn't know you were in his property. If you knew you were in his property, then he had to be careful not to damage you, even though you broke into his property, right? So we're saying that we have a proof, and it's either Rava or Rapapa. It's a proof for one of them. Antom at Beis now. Shnayim Bereshus. If both of them, two people are in somebody's property, Bereshus. Rashi says meaning of Reshus Arabim, or their partners, right? Or the Balabayas gave them permission to be there, right? Or they're both crooks, right? Whatever. They're both not the shaloi b'rishus. Rashi says it doesn't mean crooks, it means a rishus harabim. Heziku says chayavan, if they damage each other, proactively, then chayavan, they have to pay for whatever damages they do to each other. But if they just are damaged by each other, meaning it wasn't a proactive thing, then petur and the potter. Tayin Taima, the reason is the Shneim Bereshus, the Shneim Shalei Bereshus. The only reason why the halacha changes is because one case is where they had permission to be there, one case they didn't have permission to be there. But if one is with permission and one is without permission, the Bereshus Potter, the one that's there Bereshus is Potter, right? Because he's allowed to be there. Shalei Bereshus Chayiv, and the one that's there Shalei Bereshus is Chayiv, right? So that's Rava together with Rav Papa, because you see that there's a difference if the guy has Rishus and he's there and not there. Okay, fine. Then Nafal Labar Vehivish Meim of Chayev. So now this guy broke into this guy's property and fell into a bar that had water in it, and the water became bad. So then the Baal Hashar that ruined the water is Chayev. So Amar Rava, Loishana Elashevish B'Shas Nefila. This is only talking about where the water became bad when the animal fell in. Aval Achar Nefila. But if the water became bad after it fell in, right, meaning the water didn't get bad immediately, he's potter. My timer, Havishar bar, because the shar is considered a bar, right? Because it didn't do the damage. It wasn't proactively damaging. Right? Umayim kalim. Go figure that one. Water is considered a utensil. Right? Rashi says anything that's kol chafetzim kekalim deloy chaya b'bar. Anything is considered a kli, unless otherwise noted. Everything is a kli, including water. So mamela v'loy matzinu bar shechaya b'es kalim, like we said in Amar Aleph. Bar is not chayav on kalim. So since this shar didn't actively ruin the water, it's just because it sat in there ruined the water. So then, and water is considered a kli, so we know that bar is not chayiv for kli. Okay, same kasha as Amar Aleph. The Amar kol takala baru, that any sort of thing that trips things up is a bar. El Rav Amar Adam mafkele, but according to Rava, the Rav, I'm sorry, until it becomes hefker, ma'ikal meima. What are you going to say then? Right. So Ella yitma rochi yitma. This is what you mean. This is what you have to say. Amar Rava Leishanu Ela Shehivish Megufay. This, meaning we're not differentiating when the water became bad. It depends how it became bad. If it became bad from the body of the animal, then he's going to be chayiv. Aval hivish meirechai. But if the only reason why the water got bad is because of the smell, then potter is potter. My timer grama ba'alma, another very difficult concept. It's a grama. So grama ba'alma loy mechayev, meaning it's when the animal didn't directly make the water taste bad. The smell of the dead animal or the smell of the live animal is what made the water bad. That's a grama. Since it's a grama, it's your potter. We know that your potter from grama. Fine. So if the father or the son are in the bar and the shar falls on the bar and kills them, then you have to pay kaifer. Right? So Gemara asks, "V'amai hotamu? This is a short tam. It never killed before. Why are you paying kaifer?" Amara, but muad lipala b'nei adam b'bayras askin. And we're talking about a shar that somehow constantly is finding itself falling on people in a bar. So since this is already the fourth time that it did this, so therefore it's chayiv. So okay, so if it's a muad that it keeps falling on people in the bar, ihachi bar katalu. If that's the case, then it should die, right? We know that a muad or any shar that kills, it should have died. So why is it still alive? And it did this 4 times. It should have been killed after the first time. Rabbi Yosef, the chazi yeroik of enough. No, because it was unintentional. Because it kept on walking by the bar, and a lot of times in the bar, so there's grass that's growing from inside the bar. So the animal saw the grass. It wasn't trying to fall on the people. Tried to get the grass, and it's this guy is a clumsy ox, so it keeps falling in and killing people. So it did it a 4th time. That's too much already, and now we got to kill it. But before then, we still think that that's just a clumsy ox. Shmuel Amar. Shmuel is a different shot. Hamani Rabbi Yosef Glili. This Mishnah is going on to Rabbi Yosef Glili. Damar Tam Shalim Chatzi Koifer. That the Tam pays Chatzi Koifer. So basically, so that's Rabbi Yosef Glili's shita that it pays Chatzi Koifer. So then the Mishnah, when it says he pays Koifer, it doesn't mean he pays the full Koifer. It means he pays half the Koifer. Ula Amar. Rabbi Yosef Glili. It's Rabbi Yosef Glili. Damar Karab Tarfan. Who says like Tarfan? Damar Karen B'Chatzar Nizik Nezik Shalom Mishalom. Right? We had on Amar Aleph. Going according to Reb Tarfon, who holds that Karen, which is Tam, in the Chotzer on Nizik, pays Nezik Shalim. So Chanami Koifer Shalim Mishalim. So too here, since it's paying Nezik Shalim, it's also going to pay Koifer Shalim, even though it's just a Tam. So we have 3 terutzim. And we're asked Bishlam Alu'ula, Hainu de Gatani, Hayu Avivay B'nai L'Seicha. So according to Shmuel, who says that it's Tam pays Chatzi Koifer. Okay, so why does it say specifically the father or the son? It could be any human that's in there that gets killed. Why father and son? Because that's the norm, right? Those are the normal people who are hanging around there. El Shmuel, my area of Benai, but according to Shmuel, right? Did I say Shmuel before? It was Ula before. Okay, El Shmuel, but according to Shmuel, my area of Benai, Afilu Achar Nami. What's the difference of father or the son? Right? It could be anybody. So Gemara answers, Archa de Milsa Katani. That's just the Archa de Milsa, that who normally hangs out in people's bars, it would be his father, it would be his son. Okay, why not brother? Why not brother? I don't know. Okay, but father and son. Son makes sense. Father, I don't know. Fine. Then the Gemara says, Hichnis Birishus, Baal Chotzer Chayiv. So we said if you go in with permission, then the Baal Chotzer is Chayiv. And then the last case in the Mishnah, and then the last line in the Mishnah is that Rebbe says that the Bala Chotzer is not Chayiv unless he specifically accepts Achrayas, right? But if not, then he doesn't. Meaning the Rabbanan in the Mishnah hold once the Baal Chotzer lets you in, there's an automatic acceptance of Achrayas. Rebbe said there isn't until he says it specifically. So Itmar Rav Amar Halachik Tana Kaama. Rav says Allah is like Tana Kaama. Shmuel Amar Halachik Rebbe. Allah is like Rebbe, right? Which Tosfos discusses, right? Gets into a little bit of a situation here because Shmuel normally in Mammon we paskin like Shmuel over Rav, right? Which means that you have to paskin like Rebbe, even though the Tanakama is the majority. Okay, whatever it is. So Tanarabanan, Knas Sharcha, a guy tells him, bring in your shar, v'shamru, and watch it. I mean, the guy tells him, you can come bring your animal into my property, but you have to watch it. Hizik chayev, if he damaged, he's chayev. Huzak, potter. But if the shar got damaged there, then the owner is potter, right? So again, if the homeowner, because he didn't accept responsibility, he told the guy coming in that he's responsible, so therefore he's going to be potter. But if he says, bring in your shar and I'm going to watch it, then huzak chayev. If it got damaged, then he's chayev. Hizik potter. And if he damaged the shar, damaged the homeowner, the Baal Chatzer's property, then he is going to be potter because the guy took responsibility. So basically, in the first case, he told him, bring your shar in, but I'm not taking responsibility, so therefore he's not responsible. In the second case, the owner, meaning the homeowner, the Baal Chatzer, did take responsibility, so then he's responsible. So the Gemara asks a stira from the Reisha to the Sefer. Hagu for kasha. This whole price is a kasha. Amrit, meaning it's a stira. Amrit Knai Sharcha Vishamru. Guy says, bring in your shar and watch it. Hizik Chayev Huzik Potter. So if he damaged, he's Chayev. If he got damaged, he's Potter. Timer Darmale Shamru. The reason is because he told him, you have to watch your own shar. The Chayev Bala Sharu Potter Bala Chatzar. That's why the Bala Shar is Chayev and the Bal Chatzar is Potter, because he was told, you have to come in, but you got to do your own watching. Hastama, it's mashma that if he just came in and he didn't mention anything, he just told him, bring your shar into my property. Chayav Bal Chatzar upata Bal Shar. Then the Bal Chatzar is going to be chayav, because the default, when you tell somebody you can bring his things into your property, the default is that you're going to take responsibility for it. The Mistam Makabal Leni Tirusa, because Stam, he's Makabal to watch it. That's what's mashma from the Reisha. But the Seifa, Ema Seifa, Knoi Sharcha Vani Yeshmeranu, guy says, bring in your shar and I'm going to watch it. Huzak chayev hizik potter, which means that the owner of the property is going to be chayev. Taima damar levan yishmerenu. So the reason is because the owner of the property said he's going to watch it. Hudam chayev. That's why he's chayev. Bal chatzer upotter bal shar. That's why he's chayev. Hostama. It's mashma. If he didn't tell him anything, chayev bal shar upotter bal chatzer. So then it's going to be the guest that's going to be chayev. The Mistama le Makabel Netirusa, because Mistama, he was not Makabel to be watched. Sasan le Rebbe, that goes according to Rebbe. Damar Achi Kabel Netirusa. Balabais Lishmar, until the guy, the Balabais, actually verbally accepts responsibility, he's not responsible. So basically, the Reish is mashma like the Rabbanon, and the Seifa, the Diak in the Reish is mashma like the Rabbanon, and the Diak in the Seifa is mashma like Rebbe. So Reisha Rabbanon is Seifa Rebbe. So Amar Rabbi Lazar Tavra, like we had this in yesterday's daf, Tavra, it's a stira, and Misha Shanazu, Lo Shanazu, and a Chanami. It's said by two different opinions. It's not one opinion, because if it's one opinion, it's going to be a stira. That's Rabbi Lazar's teretz. Rava Amar Kula Rabbanon. Rava says the whole thing is a Rabbanon. I did the Nasiv Reisha Shamru. Right? Since he said it first that you should watch your shor. Tana seif about. That's why in the seif it says I'm going to watch it, but it doesn't mean that. Meaning it's lav dafka, right? Meaning the reisha is that the saying that the guest has to watch it. Fine. So once he wrote that, so the seif says that I'm going to watch it, but really that's not true. He doesn't have to say I'm going to watch it. Even without saying I'm going to watch it, we're going with the Rabbanon who say that you're chayiv. Papa Amar the opposite. Kula Rebbe, the whole Bryce is Rebbe. Rasava like Reb Tarfin, and he goes like Reb Tarfin. The Amar Karen b'chatzar and Nizik Nezik Shalim b'Shalim. That Karen and the chatzar and Nizik pays Nezik Shalim. Hilkoch Amar Lei Shamru. If he says to him, watch it, Loi Maki Le Makam b'chatzar. Like we said on the top of the Amid, or on the top of the previous Amid, that when he told him you can bring your shar into my property, but you have to watch it, then he is not giving away his property. So this guy's like a guest in his property. Bahavi, like Karen b'chatzar on Nizik, right? It's Karen in the chatzar of the Nizik. The Karen b'chatzar on Nizik Mishalim. Nizik Shalim, he has to pay Nizik Shalim. But Lo Yamar Le Shamru, but if he didn't tell the guy that he has to watch it. It's as if he's telling him, okay, bring your stuff in. You don't have to watch it. So it's basically he's giving him a place in his chutzah. Then it becomes a chutzah that belongs to partners. And Karen and chutzah shutfin only pays chatzi nezek. So it's a similar term to saying on Amud Aleph. And therefore, when we say that he was potter, it doesn't mean that he's potter legamri. He's potter from nezek shalim, but he is going to have to pay chatzi nezek. So again, this is like the third time we have this. Wait, it's the third time that we have this, which is um, that again, if the person allows him to be in his rishus, it becomes in chatzar and nizik. If it's not with rishus, then it's not chatzar and nizik. Okay, we'll stop over there. I hope it didn't go too fast, but I appreciate it if you tolerated it. Okay, let's say Tillim.
You have to stop the recording. You're the.
It's all right to Till have
Oh,
they'll
I'm
have
just
the
letting
recording.
you. Okay.
Thank you. It's gonna take too much time to do that. Okay, yeah. Pay Gimel. Shirmez Mal Asaf Elim Al Dami Lach Al Techra Ashval Tishkoid El. Kinei Yevecha Yemon Vasenecha Nasu Roish Alamcha Yerim Usoid V'Yisrael Tu Al Tzfonecha Amru L'chuven Achidem Yigoy V'lo Yizach Hashem Yisrael Oid Pinoi Tu Lev Yachta V'Alecha Bris Yichrois O Alei Adem V'Yishmelim Ayov Agrim Voy Valmein V'Amalek V'Peleshes V'Yesh V'Tzar Gam Ashtar Nilva Imam HaYisrael V'nei Leitzela Aselam Kimidyon Kisisro Kiyove Menachal Kishan Nishmedu V'Yadar HaYadam Elo Adama שיסיימן את דברי מקורי וחצי וחצה וחצמונו כל נציחים אשר אמרו נרשו לנו אס נויס עליהם. עלי היי, שיסיימן כגלגל כקש לפני רוח, כאיש דבר יורח ולובת להיט הרים, כן תרדפים בשערך וסופס חסב עליהם, מלא פניהם כל ויבקשו שמך אדינוי, יבושו ויבולו אדיר ויחברו ויבדו, וידעו כי אתה שמך אדוני לבדך אל יוין, על כל הארץ. אחינו כבייס ישראל, הנשאנו בשר ושוב, יום דביים ויום דביים ויבוש המלכים ירחם עליהם. יוצא מצל לרוחה מיפה ללויר משיבת לגולה. Ashtoba Agalo is my Karib and Iman Remain. All right. Appreciate the tolerance of me. Fine. Have yourselves a fine night.
Good enough.
Okay.
Drive safe. Drive safe. Or
Thank
park
you.
safe.
Thank you.
Park safe.
Now I'm going to start driving. Now I will start driving. Okay. All right. Have a good one.
So Yaakov, you still got that thing attached to your computer when you put your finger up and it makes the finger come up in the corner over there, whatever. You still have that app on, okay? Okay.
Okay, I got it. But no, the other one does more things than just that. We'll have to teach you the tricks, Rachman.
Yeah, tricks are for kids. Okay.
Fine.
Good night.
It's not good.